Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Indianapolis entrepreneur Carl Fisher had the idea to build a facility where automobiles could be tested and races held for constructors to showcase their new creations. As a result, in 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway came into being. The first series of races held on track had to be cut short as the original surface of crushed stone and tar proved unsuitable for high speeds. An idea was devised to pave the entire surface in brick. Work began in the fall of 1909. The project took 3.2 million bricks from around the state to complete. Almost immediately, the track picked up a nickname relating to its new racing surface. Today, people around the world know the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as the Brickyard. After 2 years of racing, attendance began to decline. Fisher, along with his, was a huge success, and the greatest spectacle in racing was born. We enter the track between turns 1 and 2 onto one of our short chutes, each of which measure 1/8 of a mile and are located at the north and south ends of the speedway. There are 4 turns, each a 1/4 mile in length from entrance to exit, and 2 straights, each measuring 5/8 of a mile. Altogether, these add up to a total track length of 2.5 miles. You're probably beginning to feel the effects of our banking as we enter turn 2. Each of our turns has 9 degrees and 12 minutes of banking. If you look to the left, some of the viewing mounds are coming into sight. These are located throughout the infield of the track and are used by general admission ticket holders. Coming into view on the right are the Turn 2 suites. Constructed in 1973, these suites offer a close-up vantage point to the action on track for VIP guests and sponsors. As we ride along the backstretch, keep in mind the track you're traveling is exactly the same as its 1909 layout, only the surface has changed. If you're wondering what happened to all those bricks, most of them are still beneath us, buried under several layers of asphalt. If Indy cars were on the track right now, you would see them speeding by at roughly 235 miles an hour. This would allow them to cover a football field in 9/10 of a second. For safety purposes, in October of 2016 saw sections of the golf course used as an obstacle course with inflatable pylons set up for the planes of the Red Bull Air Race. Events taking place over the track sky are nothing new. The very first competition held upon opening in 1909 was a balloon race, and in June of 1910, the Wright brothers were part of a major aviation showcase here. The official IMS logo, the wings and wheel, highlight the automotive and aviation history of the Speedway. Up ahead is turn 3. As we travel through the turn, be sure to look to your right along the wall. You will notice the SAFER barrier in front of the hard concrete. SAFER is an acronym for Steel and Foam Energy Reduction. This safety feature was developed by researchers at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in conjunction with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was first installed here in 2002. The SAFER barrier is responsible for saving many drivers from serious injury and can now be found at nearly all major racing facilities in the United States. Famed World War I flying ace Eddie Rickenbacker purchased the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1927. Captain Rickenbacker actually raced in the 500 before he learned how to fly an airplane. He successfully guided the track through the Great Depression and installed many major safety improvements, most notably green and yellow warning lights in 1935. During World War II, the track was shut down as the nation's attention shifted to the conflict overseas. Unlike the First World War, where the ground served as an aviation repair and refueling depot, the track was largely unused from 1942 to 45 and began to be reclaimed by nature. At the urging of three-time Indy 500 winner Wilbur Shaw, Terre Haute businessman Tony Hulman saved the track from demolition in 1945, purchasing it for $750,000. The facility is still privately owned and operated by the Hulman George family. Here we are on the front straight. The first thing you might have noticed is the canyon effect created by the grandstands on both sides of the track. They may be empty now, but on race day for the 500, every one of these seats will be occupied. There is no sight quite like it in all of sports. You will notice a wall separating the racing portion of the front straight from pit lane. The original version of this was installed in 1957, and it may have been the first of its kind anywhere in the world. This innovation allowed an area for cars to slow while being separated from the high-speed action on track. During the early days of the 500, pit stops would last several minutes, often with a relief driver temporarily taking over for the exhausted original. Today, IndyCar crews can change a full set of tires and fuel up a car in less than 10 seconds. Coming into view on the left is Victory Podium. The unique design of this structure is a combination of the trophies of the Indianapolis 500 and Brickyard 400. Both can frequently be seen on display within the museum. The tall building adjacent to Victory Podium is the Pagoda. The current structure opened in 2000 and is the location for timing and scoring, master control, media broadcasts, and private suites. It is the equivalent in height to a 13-story building and offers a breathtaking vantage point of our track and downtown Indianapolis from its top floors. There have been several different versions of the Japanese-style pagoda throughout the history of the track, dating back to its earliest days. Running through the pagoda and onto the racing surface is a link to the past, the Yard of Bricks. Every brick you see dates back to the original surface in 1909. The front stretch remained predominantly brick until October of '61, when the entire track was paved with asphalt, with the exception of this narrow strip. These bricks remain as a fitting testament to all of the drivers, past and present, who have come to Central Indiana in search of racing immortality.
The checkered flag is out! Goodyear makes a move! Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second! Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500!
It was the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500 in 1992, when Al Unser Jr. beat Scott Goodyear by 43 one-thousandths of a second. A unique tradition has developed involving the bricks you are about to visit. From 1911 to 1994, the Indianapolis 500 was the only race held here at the Speedway. Beginning in 1994, a second race was added, the Brickyard 400 for the NASCAR series. After winning the third race in '96, Dale Jarrett wanted to do something special to pay homage to the storied history of the track. At the urging of his crew chief Todd Parrott, he made his way to the Yard of Bricks, bent over, and gave them a kiss. This tradition is now performed by winners of every...
Pretty neat. Kyle, want to say anything about this track?
Pretty nice.
The races are boring. You can't see anything, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Daytona any day.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've been to Daytona.
Have you?
Come back out and scuff the track with tires. We had tractors going around and around in a circle with tires just dragging in reverse, scuffing the track to put down some rubber onto the track, because we had car testing last week with Graham Rahal, Scott Dixon. They were out here. We had 3 Hondas and 3 Chevrolets doing testing out here on the track. There are basic...
Whew. That's really zoomed in, guys. Where are we going? go to the simulator so I can kick your ass.
And you can do $5. And you can do individuals and or group. Yeah. Or you can simulator, that's $5 for 3 laps over there.
That's $5. It's $5. Screw that.
Yeah, so take
I have
a picture in
20.
the car with your own phone. It doesn't cost anything.
This isn't petting zoo. Especially for ag guys.
Here, you want a quick lesson on how this injection works?
Let's hear it, Smealy.
Alright, so basically you got your fuel pump pumping. Here's your metering valve. So as you're opening this, all you're doing is basically you're setting this metering valve to open at a certain point. So right now there's got to be an idle side somewhere when this is shut. As you open it, this valve here is opening with this linkage. So if you want this high side to come in faster, you change this linkage. If you want it to come in slower so the high side doesn't turn on as soon, you can adjust it all with this little metering valve right here. So crude and simple. Stupid. Pain in the ass. And like a Hillborn, you got a low side to adjust and a high side to adjust.
Right.
So I never liked too much crap. It's just crap. It's so unscientific there, it ain't funny. You know, you can't rate. The only way to regulate your fuel is to change your pills.
And that is a lesson from my ag teacher.
What's that? I'm getting there. He's too old. It ain't my first rodeo. There's what.
This is a pretty
We
sight.
took a bumper off like a Craftsman mower. Had that perfect like roundness. Set the tire in there with a ratchet strap. Put the grinder
Minneapolis.
all the way up there.
We were in our hotel room. That's Kyle. Andy, you want to say something to YouTube? Nope, I guess not. Okay. Well, this is it. We'll give you guys. We got a Garth Brooks concert tonight, so.